Regardless of any other criticisms of fiscal policy, public choice swoops in and makes an argument that even without any of those problems, if all problems of fiscal policy went away, we still have an issue of actually implementing fiscal policy correctly. The basic discovery of public choice economics when it comes to Keynesian economics is that it has a bias towards deficits because of political self-interest. Now, public choice economics is basically applying the toolkit of economics to political issues, thinking critically about the incentives not just of economic actors, but of political actors. So the idea is this, that on the margins, politicians would really like to increase spending and they'd really like to cut taxes. Right? So politicians, it's easy to sell, I will do these things for you. In other words, I will increase spending. Or I will give you tax cuts. Those are fun things for voters to, latch on to and say, yeah, I am behind this politician. It's really hard for a politician to win public support by saying, I would love to increase taxes and cut a lot of your programs. Well, it turns out when we look at fiscal policy, expansionary fiscal policy involves what? It involves either cutting taxes or increasing spending. It does not involve increasing taxes or decreasing spending. That would be restrictive fiscal policy. So what we've just argued is that politicians have an incentive to always be doing expansionary fiscal policy. They should always be cutting taxes or increasing spending. So whatever the merits of Keynesian economics in using government fiscal policy to counter the business cycle, to stave off inflation, to increase employment in times of need when the economy is below full employment, it doesn't matter because its application in a democratic setting has severe problems of lack of incentive compatibility. Their incentives for politicians to actually counter the business cycle are not there. The incentive is for politicians to always be doing expansionary fiscal policy. So public choice theory indicates that vote maximizing politicians push for increased levels of government spending because they have no incentive to achieve and maintain kind of the balanced budget or a business cycle that is just right in the sweet spot, right at full employment. There's always an incentive to do the expansionary fiscal policy. Incorrectly timed policy changes, if we do expansionary fiscal policy when we don't need it, will hurt our economy. It can create a source of economic instability, inflation, or other things. You don't want to add more fuel to the fire by having restrictive fiscal policy during a recession, or expansionary fiscal policy during an expansion of the business cycle. And what public choice theory states is that we will always have a political incentive to do expansionary, not restrictive fiscal policy. And so we will always be adding fuel to the fire, even when the economy is humming right along, or even when it's beyond full employment. There is an incentive to move beyond and to create expansionary fiscal policy with politicians.